So, what I did was, I moved to Malibu in 1989, but as it turns out, when they were actually gouging this thing, okay, the problem was that they were doing it based on their bulldozer schedule. They were doing it based on their maintenance schedule. They weren't taking into account high tide or low tide, or is the surf good, or is there anybody on the beach? They just come down and bulldoze the thing. Hey Joe, yeah, where are we going today? Well, we got to get out to, we got to get up to Sycamore later in the afternoon. Oh yeah, we go down to Malibu this morning. Oh, okay, load her up, let's go. It had nothing to do with anything other than their maintenance schedule, according to their Russ Guinea and John Falk, who we're going to see in a minute. Okay, so by this time my daughter is growing up, and I'm teaching her how to surf at Malibu, and so I'm like integrally involved in this whole thing now. Okay, so I put together an all-day symposium at Pepperdine called the Geosurf Symposium. We did that in July of 1990, and the morning was all about large-scale ideas in terms of surfers as environmentalists. Ellen Stern Harris, the author of the Coastal Act, was a speaker. Scott Jenkins from the Scripps Institution of Oceanography, he was a speaker. And the whole morning was all about the larger ideas. The afternoon was all about the lagoon. Now, I can tell you something else about the opposition we face right now, because I'm familiar with the technique that they're using, because I used it. Along with Jeff Harris and John Van Hammersveld, we organized this thing, and we took out ads in all the papers, and we pointed the finger at Tapia, Tapia, Tapia. Sewage in the creek, people getting sick, raw sewage, all this stuff, to the point where Tapia officials wouldn't even show up to this thing. Okay, well, we extracted our pound of flesh, and okay, great thing and everything. 2 weeks later, I happened to go through the canyon, and I saw their headquarters, and I pull over, and I go up to the front. I said, I'd like to talk to these guys, and they didn't show up. So I go to the front desk, and I introduce myself, and they go, oh, okay, can I see somebody? And I said, yeah. Oh, there's a man here who'd like to see you, Steve. His name's Glenn Hening. Oh, have a seat. So I go sit down, and this guy comes out. What do you want? Okay. So I say to the guy, I say, well, hi, I'm sorry you guys couldn't sit. Well, what do you expect? And I said, well, and he says, listen, let me show you something. He takes me into his office, and he gets out his discharge logs. And he shows me the documentation. He shows me they hadn't put a drop of water in the creek from April through October for the 3 previous years. Simple as that. Because they didn't have the NPDES permit for it, and they were selling all their tertiary treated water to Caltrans. And they could prove it. Okay? Plus it's tertiary treated. Now once again, there I am doing this, and we had lots of people there, and it was a big deal. But in the end, we were wrong. Okay? And we did pretty good at that point, but it wasn't quite right. The next thing I did was helping start the Malibu chapter of the Surfrider Foundation. We did the Blue Water Festival, trying to get back to the Shumash ideas. Here I am speaking, and there's the flags and stuff. And so, once again, I tried to stay involved in the issues, even to the point of writing an article. And I have this copy of this article there. It's also posted on Stephanie's website, The Real Malibu 411. And basically, I went through the reality of the situation. In fact, here's State Parks actually explaining the blueprints. This is from the project. So remember, I was working at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory at the time. So being data intensive was the only way to get anything done.